So this next team is near and dear to my heart. This is the San Jose Black Mambas that try to get as close to the city that the Black Mamba Academy was as possible. Average age 28, fan interest 96, market size large, 180 mil is the budget. Mamba Academy is a real thing. He passed away in a helicopter crash going to the Mamba Academy along with his daughter Gigi and her teammates. There's a lot of players that have gone through the Mamba Academy. So there was Lonnie Walker right there. His legacy definitely lives on through all these players right here. OG, Jordan, Josh Hart, Rodney, Aaron Gordon, De'Aaron, Jamal, Kyrie, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard definitely had the Mamba mentality when he won the championship. A lot of these guys have the Mamba mentality still. Chris Paul is definitely the one including Mamba mentality. He almost played for the Lakers I don't want to say not too long ago. It was actually pretty long ago. But Chris Paul was in the championship just recently. And, he's a very good point guard, very old school type point guard. Let's see what Kobe had to say about the veto trade of Chris Paul.
It's just, I think it's, lucky for me and for the Lakers organization that this smart decision that they've made business-wise can't be revoked by the NBA. So.
Very cryptic message, but that just tells them that I wanted Chris Paul and y'all suck. Anyway, Kobe Bryant, the one and only, bro. This man is the man, the legend, the myth. He is a killer. People compare him to Michael Jordan because his mentality is above everyone else's, and everyone else has a mentality like him, but not exactly to his degree. He can do everything. Man is 6'7", 210. He could jump out the gym. He could shoot. He could dribble. He could post up, which a lot of guards were able to do in the 90s, but it kind of faded away in the 2000s around the Allen Iverson era when that started. But Kobe kept the Michael Jordan kind of not only mentality but skill set and added on to it with certain ways to shoot and collect fouls and things like that. But this is one of the most clutch players to ever put a basketball inside of a net. Bruce Bowen is one of those Mamba mentality players. He actually played against the Black Mamba for a lot of his career. 5 championships with the Spurs. He's always gave Kobe problems when they faced each other. He's one of those very hard-nosed defensive guys. If you ever watched the movie Kobe Doing Work, they're going against the Spurs, and he tells you how much he admires Bruce Bowen's just pure defense and things that he does to make people uncomfortable and very he just shuts down the best player on the other team. Lamar Odom, straight out of New York, played for the Clippers in LA at first as part of the Young Guns with Quentin Richardson. Darius Miles, very, very versatile guard. He's 6'10", around like 220 maybe. He can dribble more than he was more of the stretch four before a lot of stretch fours existed. I think Giannis comes from the tree of a Lamar Odom. He's 6'10", can go to the rim, dunk it, can dribble, can pass the ball like a motherfucker. He has very, very good vision. And Kobe wasn't necessarily an advocate for playing with stars. There were some people that he wanted to play with, like T-Mac and KG. But he had an affinity in Chris Paul, and he had an affinity for playmakers, which is why later on in his career, Steve Nash was accepted, because he likes playmakers. And a 6'10" playmaker at power forward was almost a dream come true for Kobe, because they fit like, I don't want to say OJ's hand in a glove, but they fit, you know what I'm saying? They fit. So he's one of those people that Kobe holds near and dear. Paul Gasol is one of those people that Kobe holds near and dear. He's actually the godfather of Kobe's children. He was the godfather of Gigi before he died. He has a very close relationship with Kobe's wife. From Spain, he played for the Grizzlies at first. 7-foot guy, kind of versatile. One of the best post moves that the NBA has seen from the Grizzlies to the Lakers. He actually got traded for his brother, Marc Gasol. Mark was a little bit less trained back then, but Paul Gasol is one of those guys that, Kobe came from Italy, so he can speak different languages with Paul. He understands Paul in a different way. Him and Paul are just really good together, and because Paul was a playmaker. That's one thing that Kobe liked being with. He liked being with playmakers and heady guys that knew exactly what they wanted to do. Tony Kukoc is more of a... People would think he's more of this sidekick of Michael Jordan than Kobe. And which is true. But at the same time, he does have somewhat of a Mamba mentality. He comes from overseas. He comes from a war-torn country. His country was at war. Like, the U.S. doesn't necessarily remember wars in our own soil, but his country had war on their soil and in between the cities and shit like that. So he had a lot on his shoulders. He had a chip on his shoulder, and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen did not want him on their team around the Olympic time, around the Dream Team time. So when they went against him, they kind of shitted on him. But as he proved himself in Chicago with the greatest player of all time, you start to see that he kind of has his own Mamba mentality. From overseas, people haven't really seen something like that. They're just used to soft people from overseas. Andre Miller is one of those people that has the Mamba mentality. He scored 52 points without shooting a three-pointer one time. He doesn't necessarily shoot three-pointers. He shoots mid-range shots and layups, but at the same time, he's a very good playmaker. He knows how to pass the ball. He was Rajon Rondo before Rajon Rondo was in the league. Okay? This guy was one of the most smartest players on the court. You had to guard him knowing that you weren't guarding him for the scoring aspect, but for the passing aspect and the passing lanes. JJ Redick, if you haven't heard of JJ Redick right now, he's in the media, and he's pretty hot right now in the media, but he is a shooter. And if you watched his film at Duke, you would see that he definitely had the Mamba mentality. He liked when people hated him. He liked it because he wanted to shut him up, shoot the three, and really get into his bag. He got drafted for the Magic, but he's been all around. Anyway, Alex Caruso, he sometimes he gets the tag White Mamba. Sometimes it's said sarcastically, but it kind of speaks to people's potential a little bit. Played for the Lakers, so he knows what LA is like. He's pretty versatile. 6'5", combo guard, can dribble, pass, shoot, dunk, play defense. He does it all. Robert Horry. Now, Robert Horry, he is the definition of Mamba mentality. He has more rings than Kobe. Actually, Kobe has 5. He has more rings than Michael Jordan. Jordan has 6. Robert Horry has 7. 7 rings. You don't get 7 rings by just being a scrub. He is one of the most clutch shooters, if not the most clutch shooter in the NBA history, because all of his championships come off of a specific clutch shot coming from none other than Robert Horry. Robert Horry, as a Lakers fan personally, Robert Horry has saved us. And I remember specific situations where Robert Horry was the guy. The most famous shot he had was against the Sacramento Kings when Shaq tipped it back. He caught it and had the most illest shooting form of all time to beat the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings were supposed to be champions one of these years. I want to say around 03, maybe 02, I think. But Robert Horry stopped it, and thank God for him. JaVale McGee played in LA. He knows what LA is like. I believe he played with Kobe at some point. He's one of those original teams that, the original tanking teams when Kobe was near his last end, closing to the 2016 season. But he has been in the Mamba Academy. Do not get it twisted from the Shaq and the Fools. Those are just one play. That's like 10 seconds out of 48 minutes of basketball. And there's only, 24 seconds a play. So if you're showing me one play out of a whole 48 minutes, that doesn't necessarily tell me what the player is. The player is more so pretty efficient. JaVale McGee is one of the most efficient people in the league because he gets close to the rim and he just does what he does. He gets rebounds, and he's just a guy that knows his role on a team, and that's great. Evan Fournier is an all-around foreign player that can shoot, can dribble. James Ennis, once again, all-around player. Zeke Naji, once again, an all-around forward, center type person, playmaking, shooting. Tyronn Lue is the head coach. He was actually Kobe's teammate for a good amount of years during the first three-peat run around 2000 to 2002. He was definitely the starter. I think he came off the bench behind Derek Fisher around the 2001 finals when they went against Allen Iverson. He's a very heady guy. He's a playmaker. They're pretty good at mid-range shooting, three-point scoring, layups, and perimeter defense. Obviously, their weaknesses are strengths, dunks, rebounding, and blocks. With Robert Horry coming off the bench, the rebounding and blocks is a little lacking. Home uniform, you see you got the Kobe 1s on his feet right there. You got the KB, and you got the Kobe joint on the back. You know what I'm saying? That's the Mamba Academy home uniform. The away uniform, you see, has the Kobe After Deaths on. Same thing on the back. Still got that. Still got the KB on the corner right there. In the alternate uniform, you still got the KB and the symbol. You got the Black Mamba Academy right here. Is set up in a gym the same way the Black Mamba Academy is set up in a gym. So this is the home court, and this is how they're going to get down.